that motoring is a scourge in every metropolis of this great nation. And that's where this man comes in. To help out the boys in blue, the man in red has spent the last year tracking down the lousiest motorists who were ever on the TV show, Canada's Worst Driver. And he's brought them back again to determine which one of them is the worst of all time. Thank you, Captain Canada's Worst Driver.
Who am I trying to kid? I'm not really a superhero. In fact, I had to rent these pants just for this gag. I don't know. The point of it all is that the rehab center this year is really weird. So weird that I think all the people in it really actually belong in a comic book.
If that comic book existed, the person I'd put at the top of page 1 would be Shelby. Shelby always wanted to be a bus driver. Season 3 of our show cured him of that.
Uh-oh.
Michael from Season 2 was once asked which superhero he was most like.
As egotistical as this may sound, Mr. Fantastic. Before he does something, he thinks it through and through and through until he is absolutely certain.
Michael thought and thought, but rarely did the right thing.
I think I'm stuck.
The next person in this page turner would be Dale from Season 6.
Okay, Dale, think.
Who knows what Dale is thinking? Ever!
You cannot make a Yui on a highway. You can't. That's illegal. That's what that means.
My favorite character in this comic would be a Cape Brettoner named Shirley.
Oh, God, love you.
When Shirley was in the Driver Rehabilitation Center back in Season 7, I was drawn to her, and she was drawn to me. And then there'd be Angelina, the most two-dimensional driver we've ever had. When it comes to superpowers, Angelina doesn't have any. Unless you consider screaming a superpower. Which brings us to Sly.
How do you do this?
Sly used to refer to himself by his comic book name, Not a Backwards Driver.
Freak, I'm sorry, I am not a backwards driver.
The last person in this comic book would be Kevin, Canada's Worst Driver from Season 8. Kevin could also be known as Captain Crash-A-Lot Curse-A-Lot.
Crap on your sandwich.
I really hope this story has a happy ending, but I honestly don't think it will. Because this is Canada's Worst Driver ever! Canada's worst drivers ever really need to know where their wheels are. Now, whoa. Now, personally, I'd rather they just keep their wheels locked in the garage, but that's not going to happen. So, for their next test here in rehab, we're going to see which one of them knows where their wheels are by making them drive along 2 steel I-beams.
These are the steel I-beams, and this is the vehicle. The goal is to drive onto this ramp and across the beams, stopping when they get their front wheels on these red marks. When that happens, all they got to do is reverse back to the start.
All right, no room where your wheels are.
The key to passing this challenge is to
Line up your mirrors. Look at that. I can actually see my rear wheel on that side in my mirror, so should be pretty easy to keep that on the rails.
And it's the same on the passenger side.
There it is. Perfect. Let's make this happen.
First, I drive far away from the rails so I can approach them in a perfectly straight line. Driving straight at the ramp means my front wheels go on it automatically, And for total reassurance, I can monitor my rear wheels in my mirrors.
It's a piece of cake. There's really nothing to it.
From there, it's just a matter of staying straight.
You'd have to be one of Canada's worst drivers ever to not be able to do this kind of a thing.
To get your front wheels exactly on the red mark, just remember, when driving, your left foot is just behind your left wheel. When it feels like I'm almost stepping on the red mark, I stop.
And my front should be there. Now? Now. I'm going to say now. Now?
You're on it.
Perfect.
Using my mirrors as I reverse makes getting off the rails just as easy as getting on them.
Do Canada's worst drivers ever know where their wheels are? We're about to find out.
When Michael sees this Know Where Your Wheels Are challenge, his friend Yolanda sees something else.
I see I shouldn't get into a car challenge.
What's your cane all about?
I have a congenital hip defect and abnormal bone growth in my spine from car accidents and other falls.
From car accidents?
For safety's sake, I'll ride shotgun with Michael. Michael starts without adjusting his mirrors.
So do you think you're going to pass this challenge?
Well, I'm quite confident about the forward part.
Okay.
The reverse part, we shall see.
Drivers are only going to get one shot at putting their front wheels on the red marks. If they fall off the rails, they fail.
I'm pretty sure I'm not on the red, just that I'm worried if I go too much further, I'll misestimate my position and go entirely off the rails.
Get us to the red or it's a fail.
Michael does not know where his front wheels are until he feels them start to fall.
There. It was a little too far.
Ooh, as long as you don't fall off, you're still gold.
And I had it in reverse.
Michael almost knows where his wheels are. Dale understands the point of this challenge.
If you don't know where your wheels are, you could possibly just zig over to the other lane. You could go off the lane. You might be not be going as straight as you should be. You could fall into a lake.
For the sake of Dale's nephew, Danny, I'm glad we're nowhere near a lake. Because if we were, Dale might drown. Kevin correctly starts by adjusting his driver's side mirror
Okay, that's as low as it'll go.
Yeah.
and then the passenger side mirror.
I want to be able to see my tires.
It's great that Kevin can see his rear tires,
Slow, slow.
but he has no idea where his front wheels are. His boyfriend Lenny does, though.
No, you're way too far on this side, Kevin.
Okay, I'll-
No, don't go that way. You're gonna go down. Oh.
That was as pitiful as Dale's drive.
Well, I got further than I thought I did.
We've asked Angelina to stop wearing high heels when she drives, but she's still doing it.
You call these heels? They're wedges. Don't worry, I didn't wear heels.
When Angelina tries to line up the ramp,
Slow down. Why the f going so
Well, I
fast?
thought
her friend Christine can see she's not going to make it. When Angelina tries again,
Did I even get on?
I knew that was going to happen.
she misses again. Then guess what happens?
We're on again.
How often can this happen?
I'm getting confused.
On what feels like her millionth attempt,
Oh, there we go.
Angelina finally gets lined up correctly,
I think I should put my seatbelt on.
but that doesn't mean she knows where her wheels are.
Does that count as a fail?
It's not a fail if she can continue driving.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Ah, yes! Yes!
Getting lined up to try again.
Oh, I won.
Did you adjust your mirrors?
I don't see the wheels.
Angelina takes another stab in the dark.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Angelina does not know where her wheels are.
No, I did good.
When we come back, the rest of Canada's worst drivers ride the rails.
I'm an absolute idiot. I don't know how to do this.
Here at the Driver Rehabilitation Center, we have 4 experts on staff. Our head driving instructor is Tim Danter. Shamala Kiru handles the psychological issues. Cam Woolley is our legal expert. And Philippe Laterno is our high-performance driving instructor.
For this challenge, there's no time, so you could take all the time you want.
Right now, our experts are watching the Canada's Worst Driver Ever nominees demonstrate whether or not they know where their wheels are.
Whoa.
When Shirley starts the challenge, she goes with gusto. But when she's still a full car length from the red marks, she stops.
I think I could probably go one little bit ahead further.
At home in Cape Breton, Shirley has been taking private driving lessons, but her daughter Janice is still scared when she's behind the wheel.
Stop. Oh my
Janice.
God. I can't do this.
Janice should relax,
Oh my God!
because Shirley has clearly learned where her wheels are.
I really don't want to fall.
I think I'm at the end of the rail.
She is. And Janice is at the end of her rope.
I seriously don't think I can do it. Not because of you.
But Janice, if we fall, we're only going right there.
I need to get out of the car because I'm going to make you fail.
Stop it.
Yeah, but I really don't want to do it. It's me having to be
you're a
in here.
drama queen. Talk about Angelina.
Oh, frig off, Mom.
Shirley set her mirrors so she can see her rear wheels. And if you can see your wheels, you know where your wheels are.
Oh, good.
Shirley's success on this challenge was no fluke.
I've learned the mirrors so well that I could see where my wheel was on that rail.
Shelby drives the forward section perfectly. However, reversing off the rails
See, this is where he could be using his mirrors.
requires using the mirrors which Shelby has not set. His brother Elric could tell him to set the mirrors, but
Whoops.
Elric knows that for Shelby to learn, he has to learn on his own. What did we learn from this lesson?
Always use my mirrors.
Sly wants help, but his brother-in-law Fred is refusing to give it.
Why is that?
Well, because I'm not always going to be around when you've got a problem to solve.
Okay, we have ourselves a problem.
Well,
What would steps, like, do you take to solve a problem? Like, what steps do you take to solve a problem?
what do you figure the most important thing is?
Figure out what the problem is.
Right.
The obvious problem with figuring out where your wheels are is not being able to see them. The obvious solution
My heart's pounding.
is to set your mirrors so you can see your rear wheels. But Sly doesn't do that.
I don't know exactly where I'm at.
Where Sly's at is at the very edge of the rail.
What, do you think I'm on it?
To put his wheels on the red ends of the rails, Sly is hoping Yoda intervenes.
You know, it's kind of like I use the force kind of thing.
I'm going to force Sly to look at his front wheel in hopes that he'll learn he has to reverse from here.
Oh, freak.
When Sly gets back in, Fred gets out because Fred is a wise man. Sly is not so wise.
I steered the wrong way.
When we come back,
What?
We'll see if Canada's worst drivers ever have learned their road signs.
The sign is 3.9 meters tall.
And when you see this, what's it telling you?
I do not know.
You know, I've seen that sign, but I've never actually known what it means.
When Canada's worst drivers ever were at our rehabilitation center before,
We tested them on their knowledge of road signs, and some of them, well, some of them had some pretty questionable beliefs.
Angelina believed this crosswalk sign meant,
Is it a railroad ahead?
and Shelby believed a divided road ahead sign meant,
2 kilometers an hour, I guess.
and then there was Dale.
Obviously, this is a road, and you can't get there. So this is how you get to it. It probably goes on a service road.
What it is telling you that tourist information is ahead.
That's a tourist information sign.
Were Canada's worst drivers so embarrassed by their lack of knowledge when it came to road signs that they studied up on the topic after they left us? Or are they still as ignorant as they always were? That is the question.
Stop and think.
No.
I'm sure it comes as no surprise that since her stint in rehab,
I don't even think that one really exists.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
Angelina has not studied road signs. In fact, out of this year's 10 common signs,
The sign is 3.9 meters tall.
Angelina doesn't understand most of them.
It looks like a volcano.
Most of the other nominees
That's a yield sign.
are confused by some of the signs,
That can mean several things.
but overall,
Slow-moving vehicles.
Very good. You're correct.
their knowledge of road signs is vastly improved.
And it's showing the amount of clearance at an overpass or a bridge or something.
The person whose knowledge has improved the most
That's like a hazardous sign.
is Shirley.
And it's telling me that you can pass on the right side.
Shirley scores 8 out of 10 because when she left rehab last time, she had a mission.
I wasn't home 3 or 4 days, and I went into the provincial building, got my book, and I studied every rule to the road.
Dale hasn't studied rules of the road.
A hill?
No.
So I guess the question is,
Railway tracks?
does Dale understand more signs or less signs
I don't know.
than the equally unstudied Angelina?
I don't know.
Neither of them knows the narrow bridge ahead sign.
Like a laneway that one goes one way and one goes the other?
And both of them are confused about the sign that marks the beginning of a divided road.
I don't know. You tell me.
Angelina's score is 2 out of 10. And that's the same score that Dale gets. They're both the worst.
50, whatever that means, 500 kilometers or whatever, miles.
Last episode, we learned that Canada's worst drivers ever run into a lot of things in reverse because they are unable to reposition a car laterally. Repositioning laterally requires going forward in one direction, then the other direction, then driving straight back. It's a technique we call the S-turn. To force them to practice making S-turns, we're going to have Canada's worst drivers ever make their way, 2 at a time, around a winding reverse course that will require dozens of S-turns to complete. And first up is Shelby and Shirley. Shirley's first S-turn is done in the wrong direction.
Oh, I'm closer to this now. How am I on your side?
On the other side of the course,
Eston.
Shelby is repositioning himself perfectly every time he gets stuck.
I'm just going to Eston in a bit.
Shelby finishes the course in no time flat.
Hey! If you want to get the car to ultimately move that way,
Yes.
which way do you start the S-turn?
The right.
Incorrect. Go as far as you can to the left right now. It's forward. And now go as far as you can to the right.
Yeah.
All you can. Go forward all you can. Now straighten out. Come all the way back. See, I can't reach you now. You started to the left. You move
Okay,
laterally
I
to
did
the left.
not realize that part of it.
Shirley clearly does realize how to reverse, and that's something she couldn't do last time she was in rehab.
My husband's been putting pylons out in the yard for me.
Are you serious? You get your husband to make courses for you every day?
Every day.
Every day?
Yes, he said, I'll be glad when this is over.
Shirley finally grasps the S-turn.
Oh, even though Shelby probably came out as the winner, I believe I learned lots.
Next up, we have Dale and Michael, who understands how to do an S-turn.
Need to reposition a little. I know.
And because of that understanding,
And it's time to reposition.
Michael finishes the course quite quickly.
As far as I know, Dale's still working on the second curve.
Dale's drive is incredibly frustrating. She does know how to do an S-turn, but every time she does one, she runs into things. Running into things isn't the best look for Dale.
I'm going to look like a fool.
For the next run, we're going to use Pontiac Fieros. Driving those Fieros will be Kevin and Angelina, whose t-shirt says, heavily medicated for your protection, and she's taking Gravol. Kevin starts
Readjust the little S-turn here.
by doing a perfect S-turn. What Kevin isn't doing is looking where he wants to go.
How are you knowing where you're going if you're looking forward, Kevin?
For his entire driving career, Kevin has consistently looked forward while driving backward.
Stop looking forward. I'm not.
Kevin has vowed to either start changing or stop driving.
If you're going to do that, hang up your keys.
The S-turn has been repeatedly explained to Angelina, but instead of doing one,
Oh, stop going. Stop moving.
she drives right off our course.
Developmentally, she doesn't seem like she's at the stage where she needs to be. She's not taking any responsibility. She's throwing tantrums.
We're done. I quit. I don't want to do this.
I'm nervous. Look at what you did to me. I'm nervous.
While Angelina's car is being put back on the course, the diva herself is claiming to be done driving for the day.
I hate reversing.
I would imagine that this behavior probably permeates every aspect of her life, and we're seeing it right here in driving.
Does this work in the rest of your life, acting like a 4-year-old?
Yeah, it does.
Here, though, we don't care about your tantrums. We care about being a safer driver. So if you want to get your license back, hop in the car and let's drive.
Over the years in rehab, many of the most dangerous drivers we've dealt with have never known tragedy.
I don't want to do this anymore. Let's go get ice cream.
Do you know anybody who's been hurt in a car accident?
My friend's niece died
Died.
in a car accident, and my cousin Jesse was critically injured at 17 in a car accident. I went 30 feet off a cliff in a car accident. It was horrible. You should see my face. You couldn't even recognize me.
Wow, and you still think that you should drive?
I'm driving. I don't care.
Angelina finishes, but she didn't learn a thing.
Now, you, I'm going to get drunk.
Oh my God.
Sly doesn't have another driver to compete against. Poor Sly does not know his left from his right.
The way to the left.
Or right.
Oh, the way to the right.
Or left.
Are you trying to confuse me?
No, you're turning left and saying right.
Oh, well, whatever.
Reversing confuses Sly, which is why he takes over an hour to complete this short course.
Freak, there's something missing in my brain.
When we come back, Canada's worst drivers ever show us how well they can do a shoulder check.
Every single time that you change lanes, it is absolutely critical that you do a shoulder check. If you don't look into your blind spot, how do you know whether or not there's a group of motorcyclists back there attempting to pass you in the lane that you're trying to turn into? For their next challenge at our rehabilitation center, Canada's worst drivers ever have to show us they know how to do a proper shoulder check.
For this challenge, drivers will come down this straightaway at 70 kilometers an hour. When they pass these towers, they must check over one shoulder and then over the other shoulder. One of the towers will have a red sign, the other will be green. Drivers must then change lanes into the side marked green.
Kind of like this. Whoa, man, this car goes when you give it gas. 60, that's 70, that's green on that side, that's red on that side. Yeah. And that is how you check your blind spot in a car going 70. Now, will Canada's worst drivers ever be able to do it?
Angelina is up first.
Okay, say your prayers.
I've been praying that Angelina would start wearing proper shoes, but she's still driving in stilettos. And instead of going 70, Angelina goes over 90 and then closes her eyes.
Oh my God. Whoa.
I went to the right side, right?
Angelina did see that the right side was green, but when it came time to look where she wanted to go, she closed her eyes and went straight.
You drove straight.
You drove straight through the middle.
Straight? No, I didn't.
Well, did you see the car go through the gap?
No.
Did you see the car go through the wall?
No.
You closed your eyes.
Well, I don't know. Well, then that was a natural reaction.
No, it's not. There's a gap. The natural reaction is to look where you want to go and steer through it.
She must know there's no way that she can drive this challenge with her eyes closed.
What is that?
That's evidence that you missed the gap.
Oops.
On this challenge, drivers will get 2 chances to succeed. And to succeed, Angelina's going to have to make some changes.
She's not willing to make the changes. She's not willing to take her shoes off. She's not willing to tie her hair back. She's not willing to open her eyes and take responsibility for what's ahead of her.
This time, Angelina goes the correct speed, and her shoulder checking is fine.
I can't get it to 70. Is it at 70?
But her steering is atrocious.
Whoa, oh, wait.
Did you make it through the gap that time?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I did make it through.
We have a different definition of making it through. When I say did you make it through, I meant without hitting anything.
Well, I hit something, but I still made it through the gap.
Hitting the wall is an obvious fail.
Oh, look, you hit that too. Do you remember hitting it? No?
No.
Blind in his right eye, Kevin didn't know how to properly shoulder check last year.
I'm just going to...
You just imagine you were blind in your right eye and check that blind spot. It's chaos. Do it, though. It's a rough way to drive, but it is legal. Here he goes.
Kevin sees that the tower to his right is green, but he can't steer through the gap.
close.
Before you hit the wall, you look down at his speedometer. At that point, you look for the opening. You look where you want to go.
Andrew, for this final run, can I watch his speed for him so he can concentrate on the actual steering and the drive?
Sure. That's, frankly, a terrible idea. 2 people driving?
20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Ah.
The good news is, Kevin created less carnage than he did last year.
Fail but improve.
Fail but improved. I'll agree with that.
I have confidence that Shelby will be able to do this challenge.
You'll be able to do it.
Okay.
Shelby hits the correct speed, shoulder checks perfectly, and then steers perfectly. Shelby seems like a pretty safe driver.
Safe driving, yay! Yay! And you better be on TV because I'll look incorrigible.
When we come back,
Check.
the rest of Canada's worst drivers show me how well they can shoulder check.
Is this considered a pass?
While driving at home in Red Deer, Alberta, Sly does frequent shoulder checks. When he was last in rehab, we taught Sly to do a shoulder check by keeping his shoulders pressed firmly against the seat. Unfortunately, though, now when he does a shoulder check, he isn't looking behind himself. Now, Sly will be tested on his shoulder checking ability.
Practicing. Okay.
Is it something you learned how to do better last time you were at rehab?
Definitely. In terms of making sure to keep my back against the seat. I've had a few close calls, actually, where if I hadn't shoulder checked, I would have hit somebody.
When we taught Sly how to do a shoulder check, we taught him to keep his shoulders against the car and just turn his head, because he was one of those guys that when he used to turn his whole body to shoulder check, he'd turn the car with him and chaos would ensue. Will it ensue now? Let's watch.
If you guessed chaos would ensue, you are correct.
Why, yes, indeed, actually. Chaos ensued just now.
Before Sly's final attempt, he again practices shoulder checking while keeping his back against the seat.
Hurts a little bit.
Finish this sentence for me, Sly. Sly like the...
Wind. You like that?
Never has wind been so foxy, Sly.
Yes.
This time when Sly looks back to find which tower is green, he sees nothing, so he looks again, and... Sly hits the barrier for the second time in a row.
Is this considered a pass?
Absolutely not.
Shirley is up next. When Shirley looks back to see which tower is green and which is red,
Check.
she's successful.
Nice.
Well done, Shirley.
Shirley passed, which means I get a hug.
Andrew, I needed this today.
You needed that one?
I needed it. Oh, what a day I had. Oh.
Way to go,
Oh.
Michael will drive Yolanda next.
Don't kill me.
You will survive this challenge.
So, Michael, we're gonna go 70K an hour. You're gonna go to the side that's green. I know you can do this.
Michael only manages to go 60. Other than that, though, he's fine.
That's not bad, truthfully.
I touched the brakes where I thought was very lightly. I'm not sure how far down I dropped.
Yolanda, thoughts?
No comment because I'd start swearing, and I don't want to put money into the swear jar.
I'll pay the swear jar for you. What would you be saying?
Get up to speed and get your mind on the game. I can't see how fast you're going, moron. Shall I continue?
No, I think that covers the way you feel. Maybe this talk is a little negative.
I'm trying not to be negative.
Yolanda's been in a couple of car crashes, and now I'm wondering if she's taking some of her fear and her anger out on Michael. She's certainly overreacting here.
Show him the love, Yolanda.
Geronimo!
This time, Michael goes the correct speed and he succeeds.
That was close.
The difference between close to hitting and actually hitting is called passing.
Close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and tactical nuclear warfare.
I've never heard it put like that.
Dale will be the final driver to run this challenge.
Dale, Canada's worst driver ever?
Dale shakes her head around a bit,
Green, red.
but then goes to the side marked red. On her second attempt, Dale calls red before she even sees what's over her left shoulder.
Red, green.
And she never looks over her right shoulder.
Well, part of the challenge is checking over both shoulders. Did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Dale has a tendency to tell fibs.
No, I did not make a wrong turn.
Yes, you did.
Did I?
Yes. And you hit something.
Oh, the second time?
When we come back,
Do you deserve to graduate this episode?
Canada's worst drivers ever talk with our experts.
I need some anxiety meds, man. I'm having a panic attack right now.
Canada's worst drivers ever performed 3 driving tests this episode.
Ow. Ow.
And during each one of those exams, Angelina basically came unglued.
You went through the wall.
You guys suck.
Angie, stop.
Hey, you all. Stupid driving game.
Angie.
And I'm sick.
Now, our experts are waiting to hear how they can help her.
How you doing, Angelina?
Surviving.
Angelina wouldn't have survived our Check Your Blind Spot challenge if it had been a real-life emergency.
I thought I turned that stupid car.
To make Angelina understand that she didn't turn, we're showing her the footage.
Oh, yeah. I didn't look.
Angelina, were you aware in that moment that you had closed your eyes?
No, I don't think I was. I don't think I knew that I closed my eyes.
Is that something that you do often under stress?
I get anxiety a lot. Terribly.
Is this the way that you normally deal with anxiety?
Well, I don't really deal with it really well, to be honest with you. I don't really have any techniques or anything.
4 years ago, when I drove in Toronto with Angelina,
I can't think. I'm having a panic attack.
You having a panic attack? We're gonna stop right away.
her anxiety was so bad, she pulled over to take prescription anti-anxiety drugs.
Do you still take Xanax for panic attacks?
No, I've lost my doctor, retired.
So right now you're not taking anything for anxiety?
No, because you can't get anything at a clinic. Don't even try. I just deal with it. It sucks.
Right, and it sounds like the way that you're dealing with it is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I wish I had a doctor. We don't have, like, psychiatrists back where... We have psychologists, but there's, like, one psychiatrist where I live, and you have to be on a waiting list. I think I've been on a waiting list for, like, 3 years. Because if you can find another psychiatrist, let me know, because I'd like to talk to one.
Shamla's booking sessions with all of the bad drivers. Do you want a session with her?
What are you?
I'm a
doctor?
psychotherapist.
You're a psychotherapist?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll talk to you. Hell yeah. Can you prescribe, like, anxiety meds?
I don't prescribe meds, but we can
I'll
certainly
talk to you
chat.
anyway. I need some anxiety meds, man. I'm having a panic attack right now.
The rest of the face-to-face meetings aren't quite so heavy.
This episode, should you graduate?
Well, did I pass any challenges?
No.
I haven't heard of any institution that gives you a degree or diploma or whatever if you haven't passed any of the tests.
Sly's not the only person who didn't pass any of this episode's tests.
Do you feel like you should graduate?
No.
I haven't improved enough to be called a graduate.
Everyone else, though, feels they have improved enough to graduate.
Do you deserve to graduate this episode?
Possibly.
I hoping to graduate this episode.
I really feel that I have achieved my goals.
So you don't want to go on, learn more from the crowd here?
No, I would love to be able to graduate.
It's time for me and the experts to decide who does deserve to graduate.
Well, I don't think there's any reason to try and create drama where none exists. We all know what's going to happen now, so I'll go make it happen. Graduation ceremonies annoy the living hell out of me sometimes, and this is one of those times. Today, I have to graduate someone, and I don't want to. The reason why I don't want to go through with today's graduation ceremony is because I just want to hang out with this person more, and I think when they leave, I'm not going to get as many hugs as I was sure I was going to get this year. Shirley, you're the graduate.
Oh, God, love you.
You're going home. You did so good. Yes!
I did it!
You did good.
When we met Shirley 2 years ago, she was terrifying on public roads.
You can't just stop. See, with that, like, how are you just stopped right now?
And she was terrifying on our closed courses.
My God! Are you gonna stop?
Why am I so stupid?
In fact, she was so dangerous,
You can't stop in a merge lane.
Shirley was named Canada's worst driver in Season 7.
I will learn more.
True to her word, when Shirley went home after Season 7, she studied the driver's handbook and took private lessons. And as the result of that hard work, Shirley is now regularly making a 5-hour drive from her home in Cape Breton to visit family in Halifax. Shirley's triumph should be an inspiration to us all.
You're going to be an inspiration to women everywhere, my dear.
I hope I am. I feel totally independent, and I'm going to use this independence with my driving.
Way to go, Shirley. Congratulations, babe.
Maybe the remaining 6 people should have practiced with pylons in their yard, because one of them is Canada's worst driver ever.
Don't look at me.